Hi everyone. In the last video, we have discussed types of merger, need or reasons for merger and acquisitions, differences between merger and acquisitions. Now, in this video, I am going to explain about theories of mergers. Okay. Now, theories of mergers. See here, there are different theories of mergers. The first one is efficiency theories. In efficiency theories, again there are different theories are there. Differential managerial efficiency theory, inefficient management, operating synergy, pure diversification, strategic realignment to changing environments, undervaluation. Next, second theory is that is information and signaling. Third one, agency problems and managerialism. Fourth one, free cash flow hypothesis. Fifth one, market power. Sixth one, tax effects. And seventh one, redistribution. Now let us discuss one by one in detail. In efficiency theories, the first one is differential managerial efficiency. Differential managerial efficiency. It is also called managerial synergy or managerial efficiency. Differential managerial efficiency is also called managerial synergy or managerial efficiency. See, if a firm has an efficient management, team whose capacity is in excess of its current management input demand. So now a firm is having efficient management team. So here their capacity is in excess of its current managerial input demand. అంటే సంస్థ అనేది దానికి అవసరం ఉన్న దానికంటే ఎక్కువ ఎఫిషియంట్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ దాని దగ్గర ఉన్నప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే హియర్ ద ఫర్మ్ మే బీ ఏబుల్ టు యూటిలైజ్ ద ఎక్స్ట్రా మేనేజరల్ రిసోర్సెస్ బై అక్వైరింగ్ ఎ ఫర్మ్ is inefficiently managed due to shortage of such resources. See here, a firm which is having efficient management, that is excess of efficient management. సో ఒక ఫర్మ్ దగ్గర మేనేజ్మెంట్ అనేది ఎఫిషియంట్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ అనేది ఎక్సెస్ ఉన్నప్పుడు, అంటే ఎక్కువగా ఉన్నప్పుడు, అంటే సరిపడదానికంటే ఎక్కువగా ఉన్నప్పుడు, సో హౌ టు యూజ్ దీస్ ఎక్స్ట్రా or excess of efficiency management means here the firm will acquire a firm which is having inefficiently managed. సో ఏదైతే ఫామ్ అంటే ఈ ఫామ్ అనేది ఇంకొక ఫామ్ని అక్వైర్ చేస్తుంది. సో ఆ ఫామ్ ఎలాంటిదంటే ఇన్ఎఫిషియంట్లీ మేనేజ్డ్ డ్యూ టు షార్టేజ్ ఆఫ్ సచ్ రిసోర్సెస్. సో ఆ సంస్థకి ఇన్ఎఫిషియంట్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ ఉంటుంది. అంటే హియర్ ద ఎఫిషియంట్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ అనేది షార్టేజ్ ఉన్నప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే, సో బై అక్వైరింగ్ దట్ ఫర్మ్ హియర్ ద ఫర్మ్ వాంట్స్ టు యూటిలైజ్ ద excess of inefficient management. For example, see here, if the management of firm A is more efficient than management of firm B, see here, the management of firm A is more efficient than management of firm B, and if after firm A acquires firm B, the efficiency of firm B is brought up to the level of efficiency of firm A. So here efficiency is increased by merger. See here, the example is, see a firm which is having excess of managerial efficiency, firm A, it is acquiring firm B which is having the shortage of managerial efficiency. So by taking or by acquiring firm B, so here the efficiency of firm B is brought up to the level of efficiency of firm A. సో ఫామ్ బిని మనం అక్వైర్ చేసి ఏం చేస్తామంటే హియర్ వి విల్ బ్రింగ్ అప్ ఆర్ వి విల్ బ్రాట్ అప్ ద ఎఫిషియన్సీ ఆఫ్ ఫామ్ బి అప్ టు ద లెవెల్ ఆఫ్ ఫామ్ ఏ. సో ఫామ్ ఏ లెవెల్ ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో ఆ లెవెల్కి ఫామ్ బి యొక్క మేనేజ్మెంట్ ఎఫిషియన్సీని తీసుకొస్తాం అన్నట్టు. సో హియర్ బై దిస్ మర్జర్ హియర్ ద ఎఫిషియన్సీ మే బీ ఇంక్రీజ్డ్. సో మర్జర్ తోటి ఏమవుతుందంటే మేనేజరల్ ఎఫిషియన్సీ అనేది ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది. సో హియర్ ద డిఫరెన్షియల్ మేనేజరల్ ఎఫిషియన్సీ మీన్స్ వన్ firm is having excess of managerial efficiency, whereas another firm is having inefficient managerial efficiency. So by taking the inefficient managerial efficiency, here we can bring up or we can brought up the efficiency of management up to the level of firm A. So by that we can increase the managerial efficiency of a firm by merger. So this is what about the differential managerial efficiency theory. And next one, inefficient management. See, in inefficient management, it is simply not performing up to its potential. Inefficient means it is not performing up to its potential or up to its strength. Another control group might be able to manage the assets of this area of activity more effectively. So here another group of management or another group of firm may be able to manage the assets of this area of activity more effectively. So inefficient management theory could be a basis even for mergers between firms with unrelated business, that is conglomerate mergers. See here, inefficient management means here the management is not performing up to their level, up to their potential. So they have, we can say that the firm is having the capacity or the capability to perform well, but here the management is not performing up to their mark. So in this situation what happens, a firm which acquires, or we can say that here here the firm can better control by the another group might be able to manage the assets of this area of activity more effectively. So with the help of another firm, so easily we can control the activities in our I mean we can control activities in that particular firm. See here, for the inefficient management, here the merger between firms with unrelated business, so that is conglomerate merger is one of the best example for the inefficient management theory. So in conglomerate merger what happens, here the firms merged with each other in case of unrelated business also. So here for example a business, suppose firm X and Y. So firm X is performing inefficiently, whereas firm Y performing effectively. So here even though firm X and firm Y are both unrelated business, so here Y wants to acquire firm X to we can say that to maintain the efficiency in the management. So here this will happens due to the because of conglomerate merger. So here by merger we can manage or we can effectively maintain the managements of the business. So this is what about the inefficient management theory. And the third one, operating synergy. See here, synergy means benefit. So synergy refers to the type of reaction that occur when two substances or factors combine to produce a greater effect together than that with the sum of the two operating independently could account for. See here, operating synergy. Synergy means here the benefit. For example, A and B both are individual firms. A is earning 1 crore rupee per annum. B also is earning 1 crore rupee per annum. So A and B agrees to కంబైన్ టుగెదర్ త్రూ మర్జర్. సో ఏబి రెండు మర్జర్ ద్వారా కలవాలనుకుంటున్నాయి. సో ఇప్పుడు ఏ ఈజ్ ఎర్నింగ్ 1 crore per annum, బి ఈజ్ ఆల్సో ఎర్నింగ్ 1 crore rupee per annum. So they are earning individually. If they combine, their earnings will be more than 2 crores. Okay, if they want to combine means by the intention that their earnings are going to be increased by their combination. Suppose if they combine, after their combination also, here earnings for the firm, combined firm is 2 crores, that is 1 plus 1, there is no use of combination or there is no use of merger. So here the synergy means there should be some benefit, there should be some benefit by the combination of both the firms. So here in mergers and acquisition, here 1 plus 1 is equals to 3, not 2. In general 1 plus 1 is equals to 2, but coming to the merger calculation, when we are discussing about the synergy, here the phenomenon, that is 1 plus 1 is equals to 3, not at all 2. If it is 2, then there is no need for, or there is no use for merger. So that is why the reason here it refers to the phenomenon 1 plus 1 is equals to 3. So here operating synergy, see here generally the synergy means the benefits by the merger may be two categories. One is operating synergy and the second one is financial synergy. So operating synergy, it is improved by economies of scale and economies of scope. So here by the combination of both the firms, here there should be some benefits. So here the benefits may be in the form of operations or the benefits may be in the form of financial. So here operating synergy, it happens when there is a improvement in economies of scale and economies of scope. So economies of scale means here there is a large benefits in the improve of production process, or we can say that if there is a increase in production scale, here the firm will get some of the benefits. So here the benefits are called as economies of scale. So economies of scale will takes place if there is a huge increase in production or scale of operations, whereas economies of scope will be happen or it will be takes place by acquiring customers or suppliers and competitors. So here operating synergy will be takes place with two factors, that is economies of scale and economies of scope. Economies of scale will takes place when there is a huge increase in production, whereas economic scope, economies of scope will takes place by acquiring customers, suppliers and competitors. And now coming to the financial synergy, here it is increases the benefits in the way of finance. So that is impact of merger on cost of capital by acquiring firms or the newly formed firm. So here it impacts the merger on cost of capital. So here the overall cost of capital of the firm should be minimum, and cost of capital can be reduced with financial synergy. See here the cost of capital can be reduced with financial synergy, and here some of the tax benefits also will be considered in financial synergy. So here the firm will be benefited, or with the merger the firms will be benefited in the form of cost of capital, that is reduces with it is reduces with financial synergy, and tax savings is another consideration. So tax savings also another consideration. So overall we can say that synergy, operating synergy is the theory. So according to the operating synergy, here the firms are going to enjoy the benefits with their combination. So here the synergy refers to the some improvement or some benefits in the form of operating or in the form of operations as well as in the form of financial methods. And next one, pure diversification. See here, pure diversification is one of the important theory of efficiency theories. So pure diversification means here the firm which is engaging in one sector, it is going to be merged with another firm which is engaging in unrelated sector. That is what we discussed now, conglomerate merger. So conglomerate merger will takes place to reduce the risk or to diversify the risk. To diversify the risk here, the companies may adopt a strategy that is pure diversification. So here, according to the, we can say that the different financial authors here don't put all eggs in one basket. So here, that is why the reason don't invest total funds in one project, or don't invest total funds in one business. Here the total funds must be invested in different areas. So here, by that the risk can be reduced. So here pure diversification strategy is there, or it may be followed in mergers. So it especially takes place in case of conglomerate merger. And next one, strategic realignment to changing environments. See here, it is a way to quickly adjust to the changes in external environment, importantly legal and technological. So here, strategic realignment to changing environments means here the firm should change, or it should adjust quickly to the changes in external environment, importantly legal and technological changes. So day by day there may be a lot of changes or updates in legal as well as technological aspects. So here it is more important when a company has burning desire to grow, and the growth rate would be slow if it does internally. So here the technological changes create new products, industries and markets. So here that means strategic realignment to changing environment means, so here this theory indicates that all the firms should adjust quickly to the changes, especially the external environment changes, importantly the legal changes as well as the technological changes in the business. So to adjust or to adopt all these changes or the changing environments in the business world, so here the merger is one of the important factor they can adopt. So by through merger or by the merger, so here the firms can easily adopt their policies to change their external environment to adjust the legal and technological factors. So here the owner should specialize in knowing how to bridge the gap in current offering or to the enter new business. So here the owner should analyze, see here what are the how to maintain bridge between the gap between the current operations as well as new entrance of the business or new strategies of the business. And next, undervaluation. See, according to undervaluation theory, some studies attribute merger motives to the undervaluation of target companies. One cause of undervaluation may be that management is not operating the company up to its potential. So here undervaluation means here valuation of the firm. Here the undervaluation of the firm, it indicates that the management is not operating the company up to its potential. So here due to some, in merger motives, due to the some merger motives, here some of the companies they will undervalue, they will do the undervaluation of target companies. For example, X wants to acquire Y, then here X undervaluates the target company Y. So here that means undervaluation may be that management is not operating the company up to their potential. So here under management will takes place when there is a the management is not maintaining up to the level, or the management is not operating the company up to their level. And next one, second one, information and signaling. See here, the announcement of mergers negotiation or a bid offer may convey information or signals to market participants that future flows are likely to increase, and further it will increase the future values. So here the announcement of mergers negotiations or a bid offer may be convey information or signals to market participants. Here for example, if there is a discussion about that, we can say that a firm is going to acquire another firm. For example, you see in the we can say that few months ago, here there is an announcement that Idea is going to acquire Vodafone. So in this case, so here that kind of information or the bid offer may convey information or signals to the market participants. So this kind of information, it will give signals or the information to the market participants that future flows are likely to increase, and further it will increase the future values. So here if you think Idea of company's point of view, so here it indicates that the future value of the firm is going to be increased. So that by that the future cash flows are also going to be increased. So this is what about the information and signaling theory. So here with the information in the market, so we can easily analyze here the market, we can say that the players, or we can say that the participants in the market, they will estimate what would be their future increase values or future increased cash flows. And the third one, that is agency problems and managerialism. See here, takeover and merger would be a threat because of inefficiency or agency problem. So here takeover or merger would be a threat. So it is we can say that it is a threat. It would be because it is because of inefficiency or agency problem. So because of inefficiency or agency problem, here the takeover and a merger would be a threat. So when it takes place where there is a divergence between the goals of management and owners. So here where it will take merger will takes place when there is a different opinions between the owners as well as managers. So here managers may increase the size of the firm through mergers in the beliefs that their compensation is determined by size, but in the practice managers compensation is determined by profitability. So here according to the managerialism, so here the managers, they will think that if there is a merger takes place, then the size of the business also is going to be increased, then they may be benefited with the increased size. But in actual practice, here the managers are compensated, or the manager's compensation is determined by profitability, not we can say that it may not be compensated by the size. It may be compensated by the profitability. So almost all, most of the managers, they will think that if there is an increase in size by the merger, they are going to compensate more. But in actual practice, but it is not like that. See here, the management may be compensated, or the managers may be compensated by the profitability of the business, not compensated by the size of the business. So next one, free cash flow hypothesis. So here it says that takeover place because of the conflicts between managers and shareholders over the payout of free cash flows. So here the takeover takes place when there is a conflict between managers and shareholders due to the payout of free cash flows, due to the payout, that means dividend cash flows, dividend of free cash flows. So here hypothesis assumes that free cash flow should be paid out to shareholders, reducing the power of management. So here the hypothesis assumes that the free cash flow should be paid out to shareholders, reducing the power of management. So by reducing the power of management, here the major or the more we can say that the dividend payout ratios may be paid to the shareholders. And next is market power. So here acquirer becomes stronger and powerful through market synergies in terms of customers, market participants and price control. See here in theories of merger, here market power theory means due to the merger, here the firms will become or the acquirer will become stronger and powerful through market synergies, that means through market benefits. So here the market benefits may be takes place in terms of customers, market participants and price control. So we can say that overallly here under market power theory, here the acquirer will become a stronger as well as a powerful firm in the market. And next tax effects. See here unused net operating loss of the target company and the revaluation or writing up of acquired asset and the tax free status of the deal influence mergers and acquisition. So here tax benefits means here already we discussed na. So here if the firm which is earning or which is getting accumulated losses since the last few years, if it is merged with a firm which is financially strong, then here the combined firm will get most of the benefits or more benefits in the form of tax effects. So here the deal or we can say that the acquired asset and the tax free status of the deal influence mergers and acquisition. So here the tax effects will influence the mergers and acquisition. So here loss carry forward can be set off against the combined for taxable income. So here the loss carry forward can be set off against the combined firm taxable income. So combined firm యొక్క taxable income నుంచి ఈ లాస్ అనేది ఈ క్యారీ ఫార్వర్డ్ లాస్ అనేది సెట్ ఆఫ్ అంటే వీ కెన్ అడ్జస్ట్ ఇట్ అని చెప్తున్నాడు. అండ్ ద లాస్ట్ వన్ దట్ ఈస్ రీడిస్ట్రిబ్యూషన్. సో హియర్ దెర్ ఈస్ there is a more applicable for competitive tender offers for target acquisition. The hypothesis is that the acquiring firm overestimates the value of target to win the bid. The urge to win the game often results in the winner's curse. So here see, according to the redistribution or Hubris hypothesis, so here the target, the acquisition firm overestimates the target firm. Acquisition firm overestimates the value of the target firm to win the bid. So this is more applicable for competitive tender offers for the target acquisition. So this is more applicable for competitive under offers for target acquisition. So here according to this hypothesis, the acquiring firm overestimates the value of the target to win the bid. So the urge to win the game often results in the winner's curse. So that is Hubris hypothesis and redistribution. So this is what about the theories of mergers. So here there are different types of theories are there. Efficiency theories. In efficiency theory there are differential managerial efficiency theory, inefficient management, operating synergy, pure diversification, strategic realignment to changing environments, undervaluation, and second one information and signaling, third one agency problems and managerialism, fourth one free cash flow hypothesis, and fifth one market power, sixth one tax effects, and seventh one redistribution.